just done some scenicing here, and I want to talk a little bit about that. I've just added this little section here right in front of the station. I needed to have a passenger loading platform or shed or something like that across from my station so that trains coming in on the westbound side would be able to load passengers as well as trains on the eastbound side. So passengers could cross over the tracks long before the train arrived and then wait in this shed here. So let me show you what I've done. The first thing that I've done is that I put this little piece of board up here, which extended the thing out maybe about 4 or 5 inches here in the middle. And then I stapled on that screen like this, just some leftover screen that I had from old screens that I didn't need anymore. And I actually stapled that over some wooden blocks here to kind of make little hills or hummocks here, the irregularities. And then over that I took some plaster cloth, and I used a 3-inch plaster cloth. This plaster cloth here you can get at most any hobby store, a good hobby store. Now we get the 3-inch wide, not the 6-inch wide. It's much easier to work with, and it's actually less expensive. And laid that over the screen. And then the next thing that I did is that I got some texture paint. This is a huge quantity of it. And if you can find a smaller quantity, you might want to do that, but I did a lot of it. And I added in some coloring, and I got this acrylic paint. This is just earth brown that I put in there, and I put a little black in there too, and sometimes I put a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow to try to get the ground color. And then I texture painted over that plaster. Now you need to have the plaster cloth in there if you're going to do the texture painting, because if you just have the screen, the texture paint will just go right through. I tried that. And
now, is this before or after you wet the plastic cloth, right?
And you put it down. You wet the plastic cloth and lay it on there. You cut it in sections to fit.
Yep.
And then I have a little tub of water here, kind of like this, and put it in there. And then I try to lift it out with 2 hands, one in each corner of the section, and then lay it on here. So to try to minimize the stuff flopping over himself, which you want to get straightened out anyway. And it's a little bit messy, but it's kind of fun.
Now, do you wait till the plastic cloth dries before you start painting?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Plastic cloth dries, put the paint on. When the paint dries, you go to the next step, and when you, we'll just get to that. So I've got the brown texture paint that I put on next, and that kind of imitates the brown. And then the next thing that I did here is that I wanted some platform here for the passenger loading waiting shed here. And so I got some Durabound plaster, this stuff here. And I actually like this better, this sheetrock, and this is the 5-minute stuff, actually 20-minute set stuff, which you can get it set 5 minutes, 20 minutes, or a little bit longer than that. And I like this better than the stuff you get from some of the other companies, specifically from model railroading. It dries a little bit harder. I actually added gray coloring to this so it kind of imitates cement or blacktop. I am going to have to paint it. You can see because I had this section here as the before, and the lighter gray on it is the newer plaster that I put in there. And then I set these buildings in the plaster. And then, of course, let that dry. Then the next thing I did, I got the earth tone brown out and painted kind of around the edges, painted up close to the buildings very carefully, and then I used olive green. And I like the olive green because that is a good background color for grass. I don't want to use the really bright grass because you don't really find that too much. And then I painted, and then I used some woodland scenics, that kind of little shaker sort of stuff to put, you can get grass on here, and I just shook that on the paint. I had various textures here, and if you look close you can see that there is kind of a rough texture indicating some of the weeds that might be growing up in the midst of that too. And that's where I'm at now. Now, what I want to do now is that I want to vacuum up the grass that didn't get stuck down in the paint. And I want to do this with a vacuum cleaner, a little hand vac that's clean, because when I get it vacuumed up, then I'm going to take it and empty it. So let's just run this thing and see what happens. It looks like it's stuck down pretty good. I don't think I got too much at all. Let's just see what we got in here. Yeah, there's hardly any there. So,
Yep.
but you'll kind of want to vacuum up the loose stuff because you don't really need to have it shaking out and getting in the tracks, and that's going to happen to a degree anyway. Here we have some of the stuff. This comes from Woodland Scenics, and you've got clump foliage here. And what I do with that is that I'll take here's what I want. Take some tacky glue, just plain tacky glue. You get this stuff for 69 cents. It's really cheap stuff. And where I might want to put a bush down here, let's just say we want to put a bush right next to this shed right here. So let's see if we can get a little tacky glue. And just lay it right there. And then I'll get out this clump foliage here. And we'll just stick it right there. So there we got some bushes next to the thing. The tacky glue will dry clear, so they won't really be visible. And then something else I might want to do too is I would like to put a tree there. So, and these trees come with a base, but I'm not going to use the base. So we'll just take the base off. Some of the trees you have to actually grind the base off. And then I'll drill a hole. I'm going to put it up here. There we go. And we'll just put that there. And I'm going to take this. Now this drill, let's just put this right here. I don't want to put it too much out front because I want to keep this space open so you can watch the train come into the station. But over here is where we're going to put our trees. So this just will go down in, and there's a wood block under here, so we're going to let the drill go a little bit. And here's the tree, and let's just see how that goes now. So there we go. And I'll use the vacuum cleaner and take that wood away. And what I will do eventually is that I will put some tacky glue in that hole and stick that tree down. And I'm going to put a few other trees there, including some deciduous trees, and kind of to make this area so when the train comes in the station, it'll kind of come from behind something into the station. So that's it.
Great. Great tutorial. Thank you.